Welcome to another conversation with the Brothers of Two Complex. We appreciate y'all for clicking on this video, but before we get into the content, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these bangers that we drop every single week. We appreciate the support. God bless. Colin Sexton went on the No Chill Gill podcast, bro, and he said something that initially, when I saw it, I thought he was tripping, but after doing some research, he might not be too far off. But he went on the No Chill podcast, and he said that the 2018 draft is the greatest draft in NBA history. D-Lo, do you agree or disagree with Colin Sexton? Tell me why.
I'm not going to let you finish. I disagree. It's easy to say stuff like that when we are currently witnessing your playing careers unfold.
Mm-hmm.
A third of your class, your draft class, is still playing, actively playing, and are just now realistically starting to hit their prime. It's easy to say that. Recency bias. We're all talking about your class, essentially. Everybody in your class is the stars, quote unquote, are in their prime right now. You have Luka, who is probably the biggest star of that draft class. Trae and Shai Gilgeous. I'm not Gilgeous. Oh yeah, Alexander.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Yeah,
those are the standouts. But would you consider them to be top 5 at their position of all time? I wouldn't. I wouldn't consider any of them to be top 5. Maybe
we're not talking about individual. We're talking about the draft in itself. Okay. Go ahead.
Listen. Just let me finish it. So, and we'll answer that question though. At this point in time, those 3 who are your stars of that class, would you consider any of them top 5 now or in the future at their position?
Are we talking about Luka as a point guard?
Wherever you want to put Luka.
Luka is top 5, yes, but the other 2, nah.
Maybe Luka. We would say.
Yeah.
Where you think about putting Luka?
I'm talking about putting Luka at point guard. He's a top 5 point guard of all time. Yes.
So you
right now
Luka over Chris Paul all time.
Yes.
You putting Luka over Isaiah Thomas all time. Magic Johnson all time.
Not Magic.
John Stockton all time.
Yes.
Okay. You putting
John Stockton got the assist, but he
all time.
Yes.
Okay. You putting Luka over? Give me another point guard.
Steph? No. Steph? No.
Curry, all time.
No. Nah.
Okay. So you said no to Isaiah Thomas. You said
no to Magic
Johnson. You said no to Steph Curry. You said yes to
Isaiah
John Stockton,
Isaiah, and Dame Lillard. Yes.
No, not Isaiah. Chris Paul.
Okay. That's what. Yeah. Yeah, so I think Luka is top. But Luka is the only one out of this whole draft that is top 5 in his position, 100% of all time.
People would argue with you on the John Stockton and Chris Paul.
I don't think they would. I don't think they would. Maybe Chris Paul, but I don't think they would argue John Stockton.
I think they would argue with you, but that's neither here nor there. You're making my point. So none of them, other than maybe Luka, are top 5 at their respective positions all time. The rest of them are role players.
Other than SGA and Brunson.
Well, no.
And Trae.
Yeah, okay.
They're not role players. Yeah. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But finish your joint.
I said Luka, Trae, and Shai are your stars. The rest of them are basically role players other than Brunson.
Yeah. Okay.
That makes sense. I think to go against that, I think the 96 class is probably the best draft class of all time.
Okay.
You have the coaches champ in AI. You have he has an MVP, top 75 all time list. As a matter of fact, none of these players that I mentioned in the 2018 class were on the all-time 75 NBA all-time 75 list.
Yeah.
You have Ray Allen, second greatest shooter of all time. Top 75 list. Kobe Bryant in the GOAT conversation. Second best point guard.
Outside looking at NBA, he's there.
Many people put him in the GOAT conversation.
I got you.
Whether it's realistic or not, many people put him in the GOAT conversation.
Agreed.
Second greatest two guard of all time, multiple MVPs again, top 75.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Steve Nash, multiple MVPs, top 75 players list.
Mm-hmm.
And then multiple noteworthy role players. I mean, and that's just quickly looking at a list and throwing this together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think I would put their role players up against other top draft class role players.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, this class is a good class. I'm not taking anything away from them. I don't even think I'm putting them in the top 3 of best of all time. Top 5, maybe when it's all said and done. Oh, top 5, yes. When it's all said and done, top 3, maybe. But right now, I don't even consider them top 3 draft class.
Me and D-Lo are usually on the same page. We're still on the same page right now. I think they are a top 3 draft class. Only because I agree with you. I think 96 is the best draft class of all time. I agree with you on that. Because if you're looking at role players, just to talk about role players a little bit, D-Lo mentioned the heavy hitters of the draft in 96. Talk about role players. You're talking about like people like Marcus Camby, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Antoine Walker, Kerry Kittles, Eric Dampier, Peja Stojakovic, Jermaine O'Neal, Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Like 96 was stacked, bro. 96 was stacked. And if you're talking about role players for 2018, of course, you got DeAndre Ayton, MPJ, Mikal Bridges, Miles Bridges, Triple J, Grayson Allen, DiVincenzo, Anthony Simons. These guys are other role players that were big names in the 2018 draft. The 2018 draft role players can't hold a candle to the 96 role players. So the 96 draft is the best draft of all time to me. People, since I've been having this conversation since we've talked about this topic, and I was just asking around, getting other people's opinions. People always throw out the 03 draft, but the 03 draft was very, very, very top heavy. Very top heavy. With Bron, with D-Wade, with Melo, with Chris Bosh. It was a very top heavy 03 draft. Everybody else in that draft, honestly, didn't turn out to be much of anything, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So 03 is a good argument only because it had Melo, Bron, Wade, Bosh. That's it. That's really it. If you can name Kirk Heinrich, you can say TJ Ford, you can say a couple of other names, but it was very, very, very top heavy in that draft. Like the first 5 picks had all 4 of them. So nah, 03 is not. I don't even think 03 is a top 5 draft class at all. I don't think so.
Class that had, to me, this is my opinion.
Any draft that had somebody with a GOAT in it is what you about to say.
Any class that has a GOAT in it is a.
Okay, yeah. So it could be. I can say that then. If that's the case, then 96, 03, 84, and then 2018. Because of course 84 had who? Michael Jordan. MJ. Yeah, 84 had MJ. So but the reason why I said when I said in the intro of the segment that he wasn't too far off is because whenever you go back and start researching these drafts, a lot of these drafts are very top heavy. A lot of them are very top heavy. And I was just going back and I looked at 96, I looked at 84, I looked at 03, I looked at a couple of different draft classes. I was like, he kind of got a point, and I can understand why he said it, but greatest of all time draft class is an insane statement coming from somebody like Colin Sexton. Like, no offense to him and his game. Like, if somebody like Luka might have said that, okay, we might have something to talk about. But Colin Sexton, you wildin', my boy. Like, my boy, you wildin', my dog. You wildin'. Like,
but we are quick to throw around the GOAT. We're quick to throw around somebody's the best when they not even finished with their careers, or just getting into their career, trying to give people flowers while we can. I understand that, but we're too quick at throwing that around. We need to get away from that. Like, okay,
I agree.
Y'all are still playing. Your cement isn't even. We didn't even put the cement down for a lot of y'all yet. We still mixing it, trying to figure out how we gonna mold this thing. And you talking about y'all the best? No, man, you can't say that. You give it some time. Like the classes that came before you, we know who these players are. We know how they're cemented in the game of basketball from now moving forward. A couple of y'all, y'all have the opportunity to be in the conversation, but it's still a long way to go for a lot of y'all, and some of y'all not gonna make it. So for you to say that, I understand y'all are right. Like I said in my intro, Y'all are in the mix of your career, on the minds of everybody right now. Everybody knows who you are because you're currently playing. We're watching y'all. But realistically, the best, ain't no GOATs in your class yet.
Yeah, that's debatable. But anyway, but I want to make a correction. It wasn't no Chill Gil. He went on It Is What It Is with Cam and Mase. I want to make that correction before we end the segment. But yeah, I mean, it's there might be one GOAT in that 2018.
Oh, Luka?
Luka, bro. Luka is that dude, bro. But I mean, you can. There's always going to be LeBron, Mike, Kobe. There's going to be some other guys you could throw up there in the GOAT conversation. But before it's all said and done, Luka's going to be in that conversation at some point. I think he's the only one, but he's going to be there, I think.
I hate to say it, but Luka will be like, unless he leaves Dallas or unless they bring somebody in, he's going to be like Charles Barkley. Or Karl Malone.
I know, you know what? I can see that happening. If he doesn't leave Dallas, it would be like he probably would be like that. But they're gonna have to make. I mean, maybe Clay does something for him. You know what I'm saying? This coming year, maybe gives him a little bit of extra perimeter shooting. Didn't KCP go to Dallas as well?
I think so. Yeah.
They got a perimeter. They got a point of attack perimeter defender now to where Kyrie and Luka ain't got to worry about it because Luka played horrible defense in that playoff series against Boston. Terrible. But now you got somebody that's point of attack that can take that let Luka play help side and let KCP go up there and guard the ball. So Luka ain't got to do it.
Beat by 20.
Agreed. But Boston was just that much better of a team. And the road to the finals that Dallas had, they kind of skated away with some of them series, is just being perfectly honest. But I can see, but I can concede that. I think he might be like a Charles Barkley if he doesn't leave Dallas. Because they're gonna have to make some moves for them to get a championship. But Luka's the only one that I can see that would be by the end of his career, he would be in that GOAT conversation. The only one I can see, but everybody else,
And Charles Barkley was in the 84 draft class too.
He was exactly.
So, but if we're saying your best player in the draft is a Charles Barkley, and no disrespect to Charles Barkley, who also mentioned that next year is going to be his last year on TV, because
if they don't sign the contract, that's what he said. Well,
the NBA already said they're not signing the contract with TNT.
They give him a chance to match.
Well, that must be new. That's fresh news to me. So
yeah, I heard this a couple of days ago. So, but either way, we off topic now. We're going.
Yeah, we off topic. But yeah, so if we're saying that player, the best player in your class is Charles Barkley, because when we talk about GOATs, it's always got to have championships, got to have MVPs, so on and so forth. If we're saying your best player is Charles Barkley, how can you be one of the best draft class?
That's crazy. Barkley was that guy though. Barkley was great. Like, you feel me?
But he's not.
That is kind of, that's crazy. He's not in that conversation. He's not that. And it's funny that we talked about Charles Barkley because on TNT, that's what him and Shaq used to argue about all the time. Like, you ain't got one of these, Chuck. You ain't got one of these, Chuck.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, he I could understand why he said it, but nah, he definitely wilding. Yeah, Colin Sexton is definitely